Chapter 33. Sometimes I imagine I am surrounded by every version of Karen there ever has been, as I have lived. My wingman is 5-year-old Karen with short hair, who had to stop being a free, unfettered little fairy in the backyard with her toys, have her knotted hair cut off into something practical, and go to school. She found school pretty overwhelming and unsettling after being at home playing all the time. She expanded in my mind, though, and she often comforted me. She reminded me how to look at the world with wonder and joy again, and would give me advice with the straightforward logic only a little kid can give. She's my right-hand man. She's actually into fitness now, after being inspired by me, and whenever I see her now, she's always wearing one of those sweatband headband things. It's hilarious. She's a real character. Teen Karen is there, too. I don't know why she turned so sad when she went to high school. Maybe she was so hurt and disappointed after having such high expectations for a new school. And God, she wanted someone to love her so badly. She's okay now. I hug her all the time, and her self-esteem is way, way better. Karen in her 20s was a hard one to face. Her sadness and pain were enormous, deep, pitch black, and enormous. I let her sleep as much as she needed to, cry as much as she needed to. I laid beside her on that single bed in her little corner of the room, and I stayed by her on those nights when she was bleak with grief. And then, in time, I gently helped her to keep taking care of herself and do yoga and meditate with little K and me. She didn't like it at first. She didn't think there was a point, but she slowly began to feel better. She's very kind and has so much love inside her. She helps me remember my humility. Karen in her 30s is there too. She still needs a little help realizing she is not a failure as a mother. I remind her of all the good things she has done as a mom, and that she was lonely and hurting during those years, and that all that pain she'd been carrying for so long turned into extra physical weight she had to carry. She was very angry. She's letting all of that go. There's a Karen from every year around me, and I imagine they cheer me on, especially as I head, with endless determination, toward a finish line of healing, releasing, and self-forgiveness. A finish line that's really just a starting point of something new, something better. Sometimes I imagine we're all at a party together. It's great. I know, it sounds completely nuts. And it maybe sounds super egotistical, and yeah, it just sounds ridiculous. I find it hilarious, but also uplifting and very comforting. I have gone back in time and become the hero that I always yearned for every single version of myself, and now, when I have hard days, they do the same for me. You know how they say you need to be your own best friend? Yeah, something like that. In my heart, I can forever see the dining room at my parents'. It's Sunday and Mama's making Sunday dinner. She's bustling around the kitchen and I've put a CD on the stereo, one of Mom's, so it's Barbra Streisand or Celine Dion, because I love some good dramatic tunes sometimes myself. I turn it up and belt it out right along with the CD, and Mom doesn't even mind. She enjoys my over-the-top singing and theatrics. The table gets loaded up with food and we all crowd in. Mom, brother, sister, and I all love to talk, and we're all practically yapping over top of one another. So many fun stories and so many laughs. Dad just sits smiling for the most part, taking it all in, because he simply loves it. He loves those Sunday dinners, the amazing food, the crazy, quirky family, the boisterous conversation. He loves it all. Sunday dinner. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, and then boyfriends and girlfriends, then spouses and kids. Everyone who's ever been around that table. Forever in my heart. Thoughts. I know what happiness feels like now. Happiness feels like joy for no reason at all. It feels like a sunny day playing with your toys in your room. It feels like a warm breeze through the window. It feels like a cool breeze after many, many sweltering days. It feels like a pile of crisp leaves crunching under your feet. It feels like snow creaking under your boots. It feels like grass soothing under your bare feet. It feels like a cold glass of water when you're very thirsty. It feels like a small, soft hand in your own. It feels like a big, strong hand in your own. It feels like a frail, bony hand in your own. It feels like a toasty, warm sweater straight out of the dryer. It feels like a mist of rain on your face on a deeply magical gray day. It feels like the cold of winter blowing right through the layers of your coat. It feels like the growling of your stomach with something delicious waiting to be eaten. It feels like that first sip of the morning's hot coffee. It feels like stretching your limbs under your cozy blankets and smooth sheets. It feels like laughing until tears come out of your eyes. It feels like when you've cried it all out. It feels like having nothing you have to do and nowhere you have to go. It feels like the warm sun warming your tired bones. Sometimes it just feels like happiness, and that's fucking good enough. Hey man, I'm so happy to say, after all this time and after all that's happened, that I'm just so happy to be here. November 30th, 2021.